What is up, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. So, as per the title below, accountability. Today, I will be sharing a story with you with respect to accountability that has impacted my life in the last few weeks. And hopefully, there's going to be some lessons in there for you. But before we get started, and as per tradition on this channel, make sure to grab your favorite snack, your favorite bevy or cafe, and sit back and relax and enjoy the awesomeness heading your way. As for the brown stain I have here on this white shirt, it is Ansar Oud's Omerous. Sprayed it on my clavicles just to smell the beautiful tobacco medicinal oud scent. I really need the healing qualities of oud right now. And I've got some coffee here that tastes like chocolate and orange pop taste notes. God, that is good. Okay. So here's the story. About 2 weeks and a half ago, well, let's start. 3 weeks ago, I went for a dental hygiene appointment where I go twice a year or once a year, depending on how I feel. Go into my dentist and they basically clean out my teeth. So they do a scaling, the water pike where they get between your teeth and they clean it, and basically they polish your teeth, and you also get an exam. Now, while I was doing that appointment approximately 3 weeks ago, I was told that I have 4 cavities, okay, that required fillings. And I was like, whoa, 4 cavities. I mean, I had some sensitivities in my teeth, but I didn't know that these sensitivities were the result of cavities or the fact that I couldn't even see cavities. And I was told that, well, some of them are light brownish in color and some of them are under cracks, so I can't see them. And in hindsight, I should not have believed that, but we'll get shortly into the accountability portion later on in the story. So, anyways, I bought into that bullshit story and I booked the first appointment for a filling the week after. Now, for context, I've been going to that same clinic, dental clinic, for 5 years, but every year or 2 years, there's a new lead dentist in the clinic with a whole brand new staff. In hindsight, that should have been a red flag for me. Okay, but let's keep going on with the story. The next week comes, I go in for a filler appointment, and basically the dentist carries on with drilling, making the filling, and then the appointment is done, and I get antibiotics, specifically penicillin, which I've had a filling done before and I've never had to take antibiotics. So I felt that was a bit odd that I was prescribed antibiotics, but apparently it's normal after dental work to be prescribed penicillin. So I didn't think much of it. I went home. Well, before I went home, I booked another appointment for the week after. Well, for 2 weeks later, actually, to get fillings done, the remainder of the fillings done, so that 3 more fillings. The drink now, I feel the heat sensitivity. But anyways, so during the week after the first filling, I take the antibiotics about 3/4 of the way. I don't finish all of the antibiotics. I didn't feel that I needed them. And I decided to move the appointment 1 week early. So instead of 2 weeks, 1 week later, I go in to get the remaining fillings, the remainder of the fillings. And I go in and the dentist starts doing the fillings. Starts off with one filling up there and then two at the bottom. And right after the filling is done, the dentist starts telling me about some of the issues I can experience after the filling, like pain, sensitivity, but the possibility that if that doesn't go away, I might need a root canal. And I was like, what is going on? I mean, shouldn't you have told me that before the procedure? And that stuck to me as a red flag. But again, back then I didn't really think much about it. So I was like, okay, I'll keep an eye on it. And as I was exiting, the lady at the front desk that bills me goes ahead and tells me, your insurance maxed out. Next time, we should watch it and, coordinate together so you have more left over for next visits. And I was like, that is odd. If you were going to max out my insurance, why didn't you tell me beforehand that, the procedures are going to max me out for the year? And again, I was like, okay, whatever. Tell me the remaining balance and I'll pay it. And I paid the remaining balance now that my insurance is completely used up. And as I was getting out, talking to the dental assistant and the dentist, they pretty much told me that, you're going to have some challenges with chewing for a bit and whatnot, etc., etc. I was like, okay, whatever. I didn't really think much of it, you guys, even though all of these red flags were there. Because I got anesthesia, like local anesthetics, injected twice in my upper nerve and my lower nerve. And then the work that was done, 3 fillings in one sitting. I went home and I was exhausted. Let me tell you something. You might think that a filling or some dental work doesn't affect you much, but I was fatigued. I passed out. I was back home by 6. I tried to stay up by 7 hours in bed, and I slept straight from 7 p.m. to 7 in the morning. And then I woke up the next day, and I basically was starting my day, went to the gym, didn't think much of it, came back, and, was going to have my breakfast before I start work. And this is when I started freaking out. So as I started chewing food, it felt like my tooth, so my molar all the way to the back that had a filling in it, it felt like it was going to collapse on itself. It had no structural integrity. That's what it felt like. It started shooting with pain and sensitivity, and I just started freaking out. Okay, like, what is going on? I've had fillings before. I've never experienced anything like this. So I go on with my day, and then I'm ready to have lunch, and then I experience the same thing again. And at that point, my gut instinct is something is terribly wrong. This does not feel right. So I call the dentist right away, office. I cancel the rest of my day. And I go in, and basically they tell me everything looks fine. It's just you need a bite adjustment. I'm like, okay. They run their little, drill around my teeth. I smell my teeth like the powder from the grinding. And then they'll be like, you're going to be fine. And then I leave. I go home thinking everything is okay. And then I proceed with wanting to eat dinner. And I run into the same exact issue. And I was like, okay, well, they told me to wait a bit. Like, this is going to take time. She even told me, hey, it could take up to 7 months, which I called bullshit right away on the spot. 7 months? Like, I'm not going to wait 7 months with that much pain and sensitivity. This is bullshit, but I don't have a choice. What else am I going to do, right? And I didn't want to argue. And then I went to bed. And as I went to bed and laid my head back on my pillow, all I felt was this pulsating pain and sensitivity in my lower jaw where the tooth with the filling was. And it just, this pounding sensation. And basically, I couldn't sleep. It kept me up all night. And by the time I woke up the next morning, I was sore. I had tightness in my jaw. I had this tense pain running from my lower jaw across my face, across my eyes, all the way up to the temple of my head. And I called the dentist's office again. I was like, hey, I'm coming in. Like, this is something is happening. This isn't normal. I go in, I explain what's going on, and then basically at that point, they give me an x-ray. They put a camera in my mouth trying to show me that everything is all right. Like, that nothing is wrong. I'm like, no, something is very wrong. Like, I have all of these symptoms, sensitivity, pain, feels like shooting pain from my lower jaw into the tooth. Whenever I eat, the tooth feels like it's going to fall apart. Don't tell me everything is wrong. And then the dentist just the whole time is gaslighting me, is deflecting, taking no accountability for her work, not recommending anything that's helpful. And then she tells me, yeah, well, if this doesn't heal or this doesn't, like, if this continues, you will need a root canal and you can come back for a root canal. I'm like, what? This tooth was completely healthy, didn't most likely need anything. I took your recommendation as a professional. In hindsight, I fell for the authority bias, meaning that because she's a dentist, by default, subconsciously, she has authority over the subject matter, and I surrendered into that, which in hindsight, I shouldn't have, but that's a bias that exists in human beings. We can get into that in another video. Even if you're aware of it, you're still susceptible to it and you fall to it, especially when you're in a vulnerable position like that, where you're literally needing the expertise of someone else to help you with a health issue you have, that you're susceptible to their suggestion because you have no choice, you have no other option, they have power and authority over you, and once you're in that seat reclining back, you're vulnerable. So you're susceptible to suggestion, and that's the authority or power bias. And pretty much after gaslighting me, deflecting, not taking accountability, she looks at me and she tells me, well, what would you like me to do for you? You tell me what you want me to do for you. Imagine that. I'm going to the dentist for her to tell me how to fix the problem she created that was non-existent, And she is asking me, the patient, the client, what is it I want? I stood there and I was like, just flabbergasted. I didn't know what to say. Like, I just like, it's a situation that I've never been in before. I've never encountered this. And then she goes and tells me what you're experiencing is normal. A lot of people experience, and they tell us they experience that. And the first thing that came to my mind, holy shit. So you do have a pattern of repeated behavior where you injure people and you get feedback that you're injuring them, but you're still fucking doing it. And I was just there, just mind blown at the fucking audacity of that person, that just the fucking ego on her, not taking any responsibility for her work or her recommendation. And then she basically, by that point, she kept deflecting me like I'm a nuisance, like I'm annoying to her. And she goes, if you ever need me, I'm here. I'm like, bitch, I need you right now to fix the problem you created. What do you mean if you ever need me, I'm here? I'm actually having traumatic flashbacks as we speak. Fuck. Anyways, so I leave being extremely frustrated and not knowing what to do. I go home, still experiencing pain and sensitivity. So I get on ChatGPT. Thank God for ChatGPT. People out there, don't worry about AI. It's possibly a savior in this day and age when you're dealing with fucking people like this, okay? And I put all of my symptoms, and ChatGPT basically outlines to me what it possibly could be, what I need to do, and what the next steps are. And basically, that bitch, most likely, so because it's a molar, and for your tooth in general, you have two sets of nerves. You have a set of nerves at the top of your tooth, and then the root nerves that go down into your jaw. And basically what happened, and later on, and I'll get into that, I went to another dentist that confirmed that, she drilled close to the fucking nerves at the top of my tooth. So she basically destroyed my tooth. Fucking, okay. I'm just getting pissed remembering. So, yeah, pretty much went into live nerves, drilled into them, traumatized them, and pretty much what it is it started the process of killing the nerve and is basically decaying at this point. So, after putting in ChatGPT, getting all of that feedback, I said, fuck it. I started doing search for other dental clinics close to me and basically found one that's hopefully decent because I'm still working with them, even though even they did have bad reviews on Google. So it doesn't sound to me like you can escape bad dental issues. And I basically booked an appointment, went in. The new dentist pretty much told me that it sounds from the progression of the symptoms that they're getting worse. And the approach he's going to take is to follow an elimination approach, meaning that he's going to run some tests based on the test results and the outcomes, eliminate probable causes, and then narrow down to the root cause of the issue I'm running into. So he basically started off by grinding down the filling a bit to adjust the bite, which after I left the dental clinic within a couple of hours, it was extremely helpful. The pressure I was feeling on my lower jaw completely shifted within a couple of hours. I didn't experience it as badly. I didn't have as much pain anymore or sensitivity, which was good. And that lasted for about 48 hours. until yesterday, where I started getting extreme sensitivity to hot liquids, extreme sensitivity to cold liquids, extreme sensitivity just to breathing air through my mouth, extreme sensitivity while chewing even soft food items. And for those of you that don't know, all of these are just indicators of the pulpus, which is the top layer of the nerves in the tooth, dying, and basically entering a necrosis stage where it's decaying. So now I basically had a course of antibiotics that this new dentist gave me. And he gave me and told me that if things get worse over the weekend, take the antibiotic until you come to see me again. So he knew that this was going to happen, even with the bite adjustment. That's why he gave me the antibiotics. Now, he didn't tell me that during the appointment, which is, again, he probably didn't want to freak me out, but also a liability thing for them, I guess. But yeah, I had to jump on the antibiotic just in case I stop producing like abscess. It doesn't end up injuring my organs pretty much. So now I'm waiting until Monday to call the new dentist and go in, and most likely I'm going to have to get a root canal, which is going to be at least a month and a half affair. Okay? Between getting in, removing the roots, getting a crown. So my summer is wrecked. And I'm in pain as we speak right now, and sensitivity as I drink my coffee, because the coffee is warm, it activates the pain and sensitivity. So all of this story was, that the subject matter of this video is accountability. So there's two areas of accountability here. The first one is me. I, as much as it sucks to admit, take full accountability for being in this situation. Okay? And the reason for that is I am responsible for being naive enough to take the advice of a dentist, even if they're an authority and subject matter expert. At the end of the day, the advice they give is motivated by making money, meaning that they are gonna create issues for me to fix so they can bill my insurance or bill me directly. And I should not have been naive enough to just take her words at face value and get treatments that most likely I would not have needed or didn't need, but now I'll never know because the work is done. So I'm accountable for being naive and not questioning or requesting proof beforehand, or even asking about what the risks were or the consequences or possible problems I'd have to deal with down the road. So that's on me. I mean, they say ignorance is bliss, not in this case. It's actually painful to be ignorant, but I'm accountable for being in this position. I put myself in this position by my ignorance, by not slowing down and thinking twice about the decision I made. So I'm accountable for the decisions I've made and the consequences of those decisions, being now in a position where most likely next week I'll need a root canal. So as much as it sucks and it pains me to admit it, I'm accountable for the pain I'm in right now. The second accountability, which is never going to be claimed, is the accountability of the dentist. The dentist never disclosed to me the risks beforehand of the procedures, which according to Dental Association locally, they're supposed to disclose the risks of any procedure that is invasive. They never did that. She also didn't take accountability for the problems she's created. 2 visits post the filling of me saying, please fucking help me. Like, help me, I'm in pain and this is getting worse. Nothing. No empathy, no sympathy, no stepping up front to take initiative in terms of fixing things, just wanting to wait until they deteriorate and then want me to pay her more money to fix the problem she created. Zero accountability. I'm almost certain now, having talked with her the few times and dealt with her, she's a complete fucking narcissistic sociopath. And like I said, it's a pattern of behavior, and it was confirmed by her admitting some of her clients have already experienced that with her. But then I went on Google reviews and saw a couple of reviews having the same exact procedure recommended and done with the same exact outcome, where basically they don't help the clients with the bite issues and the issues that develop after, and these people having to go see another dentist. So that's a pattern of behavior. That's malpractice right there, and it is intentional. So it is disgusting to me, the lack of accountability that she displayed with respect to her work and towards her patients. The second lack of accountability is when it came to the billing of my insurance. These insurance administrators at a dental clinic, they know how much a procedure is going to cost. They have visibility into your insurance account, and they get an approval for the procedure prior to or while you're having the procedure. So they already know. They basically went ahead regardless of what it would have cost and billed anyways, when they should have reached out to me and said, hey, we're maxing out your insurance. Are you okay with that? All of this should have been done prior to me getting the procedure even, but they don't care. They didn't care. All they cared about was getting the money. I had an idea about all of these things beforehand, but because I've never been in a position like this, it never crossed my mind that I would experience this in my own life. And now I did. And my gut instinct during the whole process, even with the multiple visits, told me something is wrong, and I didn't listen to my gut instinct. And now I'm in a position and situation where, to save myself and my health, I have to lose a tooth. It's a very hard pill to swallow. I went in there for an appointment to maintain my health, only to inflict damage on myself. And that's on me. Never mind the dentist not taking accountability for her work, the administrative billing agent. I willingly walked into this. And it's really hard to admit that at the end of the day, it was me that put myself in this position where I got injured, where my health got compromised. And I do care a lot for my health. I really do. Because without health, you have nothing. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how famous, how much status you have. Without health, you have nothing. So I am accountable for the position I'm in right now. I'm accountable for the invasive procedure I'm going to have that's going to pretty much kill my summer over the next month and a half. I am accountable also for the extra financial loss I'm taking to save myself. And the reason I made this is that I wanted to communicate to everyone out there is that when you go through life and you think that things are happening to you and they're out of your control, they really aren't. You put yourself in positions that compromised you. It doesn't matter if it's an injury or loss of money or bad circumstances. Your lack of awareness or ignorance is still your responsibility. You are 100% accountable for anything you experience in life, be it good or bad. 100% your responsibility. And it pains me to say that because I'm in this position right now. I am in this position where I'm 100% accountable and responsible for the pain I'm experiencing in my lower jaw right now. And I wanted to put this out there as a reminder for myself mainly, but also a lesson and a wisdom, I guess, for some of you out there that go through life thinking that your circumstances or situation is out of your control or that life is happening to you. No, it's not. No. Everything you're experiencing is your fault. And you're 100% accountable for the position you're in life. And it sucks. It sucks to admit that to oneself. And it takes a lot of courage and humility to admit that and accept that the position you're in life is on you. Naivety, ignorance, not knowing, not having experience, it's on you. So, have to be accountable for it. Because the other thing about accountability is, in my situation, for example, because I am accountable for that shitty situation I'm in, I'm also accountable for getting it fixed. So when you take accountability, it energizes you to look for solutions to the problem you've put yourself into. Now, granted, in my situation, I'm driven by pain and agony, but nonetheless, because I am accountable for that situation, I'm also accountable for solving it by helping myself. I didn't just, after the third visit with this disgusting, evil, vile creature of a dentist, I decided I've had enough. I need to actually find someone that's willing to help me. And I did. Now, granted, the solution or help I'm going to get is not what I was hoping for. But I still took accountability to sort that out, to get the help I needed. Okay, now that I'm aware, now that I understand what happened and what went wrong, I'm accountable for helping myself. So, yeah, you are 100% accountable for your life, the good and bad that happens in it. And the good news is, even if things do go badly because of your actions can also lead to good outcomes. But you have to snap out of the slump and embrace taking action towards getting things better. And thankfully, thank God in my case, there is a solution. Not the solution I had hoped for, but nonetheless a solution. And it's not something that's, that's just not fixable. But yeah, full accountability. Take full accountability for your life, full ownership. And yeah, that's pretty much the video, you guys. Like I said, I'm doing this upload more for myself, but if it helps any of you out there, then at least my misfortune would have been of service to others to help you avoid falling into the same situation. In this day and age, anybody that's a quote-unquote subject matter expert, just take it with a grain of salt. Do your own homework. Understand what you're getting into. Because just people have no conscience anymore. There's no ethics, no morality. It's just all about the money, especially if you're entering into anything related to your safety and health that you have to pay for. Understand this, that it is 100% transactional. This other person does not really care about you. As far as they're concerned, you're just another dollar sign in their bank account. So, lesson learned. And yeah, just it is what it is. Ironic considering the upload I just did the other day on learning through pain. Patimata. I'm learning through pain. Trust me on that one. But anyways, all right, you guys. So this is it for this upload. Hopefully it's been helpful for some of you out there. Consider subscribing to the channel, giving me a thumbs up. And as per usual, very much appreciate your time and attention. And I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.